Hello, movie buffs and film connoisseurs. It is your self-proclaimed Cinema Shogun here. And it was only like 3 days ago that we got our first look at the live-action Cowboy Bebop series that's coming to Netflix. And in those few short days, we already have the lead actress of that show making the rounds on social media for all the wrong reasons. And I have a little video here that I want you to look at some of her recent comments. But before I get into that, before I even show you that, let me just preface this by saying this. If there's any content makers out there watching this, any actors or actresses or anything like this, just know this. Stop attacking the fans. Stop attacking the fans. If you're going to keep making these reboots and rehashes and reimaginings of all of this old pre-existing IP, you have to realize that there's fan bases attached to those IPs. If you want less judgmental eyes on your content, on the movies and shows and books and all that stuff that you put out, then stop doing the reboots and the rehashes of old stories. Stop reimagining stuff that people already loved. You're not making things for a new audience. What you're doing is just pissing off the old audience. So I want you guys to realize that. So stop attacking the fans. If you want to start doing these reboots or keep doing these reboots of everything known to man, you want to do all these live action adaptations of different comics and anime and video games and what have you, you're going to have critical eyes on your content, because there was people who were fans of those IPs long before you got this role in this TV show. Long before you decided to make this reimagining live action adaptation of whatever it is that you're making, there was already fans of this property. And they're going to be fans of this property long after your live action adaptation is forgotten. Okay? That's the fact of the matter. And when it comes about Cowboy Bebop, there was fans of this show for decades already. Okay? Literally. Long before they even thought that an anime could be live action, they were fans of this show. And long after people forget about this Netflix series, they're still going to be fans of Cowboy Bebop. And that doesn't just go for this Cowboy Bebop show. This goes with everything. Stop attacking the fans. It's never going to be a good look. It's never going to end up well for you. Right now, I feel like in all fan bases, fans feel jaded. From the Star Wars community, to the Marvel Bros, to the DC Snyder fan base, to video game, gamers. Like, everyone right now, as far as the pop culture, pop culture community goes, a lot of us feel jaded. A lot of us feel let down. A lot of us feel upset. A lot of us feel like, that everything that we love is going to shit. Because everything woke goes to shit. But enough of that rant. Let's go ahead and check out this girl's comments real quick, and then I'll give you my thoughts on what she had to say.
Hey guys, so as you know, our Cowboy Bebop first look dropped today, which was so exciting. And I just wanted to address a couple of things that sort of keep coming up in the comments amongst fans. First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character. 6 foot, double D size breast, 2-inch waist. They looked everywhere for that woman and they couldn't find her. It's kind of weird. So they just went with my short ass. I know. Am I right? There was talk about, like, can we put Daniella in a time machine and maybe give her different parents so she has different genetic information to sort of make her look better? It proved to be too complicated. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was I want to apologize that the outfit I'm wearing is not exactly what she wears in the anime. We tried, but doing stunts in tissue paper, things disappear, they rip. Sometimes it just got lost. Anyway, like I was saying, that original costume, they made a couple of them, but like I said, they got sort of slurped up in my various crevices, never to be retrieved again. So we needed to really build something that could withstand the test of time. So just,
Okay, I'll admit it. I appreciate sarcasm and a good sense of humor more than most people. But a lot of that kind of came off as snooty, like nose up in the air, stuck up, snooty-ish to me. But I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here, because I kind of can see where she's coming from with some of the things she's saying. Or maybe I'm just simping over the live action Faye Valentine. Am I simping right now? Let me know down in the comments below. But no, in all seriousness, I understand where she's coming from. You know, Faye Valentine often wore scantily, you know, she was scantily cladded. She wore skimp clothing, I guess you could say. And, you know, she had, you know, her tits would be out and things like that. So I understand that it would be hard to kind of film an action series in such little clothes and not have your tits hanging out and things like that. And even me, I mean, I wouldn't want to go out there and have my tits swinging all around, you know, while I'm trying to do action scenes. So I understand where she's coming from, okay? I understand where she's coming from for that, from that aspect. But I think she needs to understand that fans have certain expectations, and when you pick up this part to play Faye Valentine, and you know that the costume is not going to be the same and the look is not going to be exactly the same as the manga and the anime, you should go ahead and expect there's going to be some backlash there. And maybe you could have worded this differently. Maybe you could have handled this differently. Like, hey, everyone, listen. I know that you guys really like Faye Valentine and the look of Faye Valentine. We tried to pull it off, but it just couldn't happen. With the action scenes and different things like that, it just couldn't happen. My nipples were all over the place, and it just, you know, it wasn't a good look. It didn't work out for us, but I tried to do my best on this role. You know, we tried to, you know, give her a good look, whatnot have you. You know, she could have handled it better than making this snooty little comeback that I feel like a lot of stars are doing now. I don't know if it's the TikTok generation or what it is that's causing this, you know, new phenomenon of people feeling like they have to have these little snooty, you know, 1 minute, 30-second, quick 90-second rants. But yeah, overall, this just isn't a good look. With any comic book, manga, any type of pop culture property that comes out, there's always going to be that level of criticism there. And as an actor, as an actress, you have to learn to stay away from the negativity on social media and don't make comments like this. Don't be passive aggressive towards the fans and be snooty and act like this, because that is one of the main things that can ensure that your show will be dead on arrival. Okay? I think Kevin Smith learned a thing or two from acting like this with Masters of the Universe, okay? This can assure that your show will be dead on arrival. Like I mentioned earlier, fans are jaded right now more than ever throughout all of pop culture, okay? So fans are extra sensitive right now when it comes to things like this, and more reactionary than they used to be. And a lot of them are backing up, you know, how they feel with their dollars and with their subscriptions. That's why we see Netflix losing so many subscriptions. That's why we see the Disney Plus shows and the Disney Marvel movies not performing as well as they should be. So there's a lot of pushback happening right now, and now is not a good time to be out here sending jabs at the fans, trying to send little snooty comments at the fans. But one of the main things I took issue with here is this whole concept of the fact that women can't look this way. That there's no such thing as women with slim waist, pretty face, and big boobs. Like, she literally says in the video that anatomically they couldn't find a single woman that looks like Faye Valentine. Although, I mean, if you go to any Comic-Con, you can see that there are women out there that are pulling off these costumes better than the actual, you know, high-budget, multi-million-dollar movies. I literally go to small, low-budget Comic-Cons, small Comic-Cons down in the South, and I see people there with cheap cosplay that looks better than half of the costumes you see in the MCU, and definitely half of the costumes that you see in this Cowboy Bebop show. Although I am on record of saying that I think the Cowboy Bebop show looks good. I'm not one of the people that was so nitpicky that I had to trip about Faye Valentine. I looked at it, I was like, yeah, this doesn't exactly look how she looks like in the manga and in the anime, but I'm willing to accept it and I'm willing to compromise with certain things as long as the show is good. And, you know, her not having her tits out 24/7 is something I could compromise on. I like tits just as much as the next guy, but I understand, you know. But when it comes to sending jabs at the fans and acting snooty and joining this argument and this debate that's going on in pop culture right now that women can't look like this, there is this push, there's this agenda right now to, I don't know what it is, but to like defeminize women and to make them more manly. Like, even if you look at the comics now, look at how they're making women look in the comics now. Go look at that last What If episode, which was basically, what if we took Peggy Carter's head and put it on Captain America's body with the broad shoulders? Look at how all the women looked in Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe show. Look how women just look in comics and pop culture in general now. They're trying to push this agenda that, you know, makes women look more masculine. And it's weird, and I don't understand it. And I feel like right here, she's basically taking those talking points and that debate that's going on right now within the comic realm about how women should be depicted in comic books, and she's basically taking those talking points and applying it to what's going on right now with this live action Cowboy Bebop show. And I feel like she's an attractive woman, and I understand that she doesn't have to dress this exact way and it might not work out. But for her to add to that argument and act like it's impossible for a woman to look like a woman, that just doesn't make sense. Now, me, I'm a fat guy. I understand that we're not all peak physicality. But when we look at our comic books and we look at our video games and different things in pop culture, most of those superheroes and characters are peak physicality. Like, it's not just from a woman, like, you know, it doesn't just affect the women. So yeah, you look at comic books and you look at manga and all the women, you know, slim waist, big tits, you know, pretty face. But when you look at the men, they all have six packs, they're handsome guys. That's just how pop culture is. When you think of a superhero, you think of peak level of physicality and peak, you know, attractiveness. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't feel like there's a problem with that, and I feel like her basic argument is basically trying to take those talking points and apply it to what's going on here with this TV show. But I want to know, how do you all feel about this? Do you have an opinion about this? Surely you do, and all opinions are welcome here. They don't have to align with mine, but I want to know what your opinion is down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, you find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.